Welcome back to Indy Now. By now, many of you have seen the headlines. Maybe you've even watched the documentaries about Britney Spears and her conservatorship. It has really sparked larger conversations about conservatorship reform and so much more. So joining us to talk about this case, we have Matthew Tandy here, local Indiana injury and criminal defense attorney. Matthew, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me on.
We know so many people have been just glued to this case. I mean, this is really blown up, and for good reason, because we know just recently Britney's father, Jamie Spears, I know he was suspended as conservator of her estate after 13 years, and there's a lot of people talking about this.
Yeah. So they've suspended him from the conservatorship of the estate, and there's a hearing set, I believe it's November 22nd or sometime in November, where it's believed that it's going to end altogether.
Wow. Now, the thing is, I know so many people are huge fans of Britney, so of course you have that aspect of it, but there's also just a deeper conversation going on. So let's talk about, first and foremost, what is a conservatorship?
So in Indiana, it's called a guardianship, and it's called different things in different states, but it's essentially the same thing as the conservatorship for Britney. There are two types of conservatorships. There's the conservatorship of the estate, meaning that person would have control over the finances, things like that. Then there's the conservatorship of the person. Conservatorship of the person means that the conservator would have control over healthcare decisions, or in Britney's case, where this kind of bubbled to the surface, was reproductive decisions. So she wanted to have her IUD removed, and she was upset that she wasn't able to do so. So there are two types of conservatorships. Typically, the way that it happens is the person that wants to have it put in place would petition the court would schedule a hearing, and then the court would make a determination of whether or not the conservatorship would be necessary. What was odd about Britney's case is there was no hearing. Jamie, through his lawyers, told the court that there wasn't a need for a hearing, and that there was an emergency, so they didn't have any hearing.
Wow. And the thing about this case too, you know, we're talking about conservatorship abuse a lot of times, but you and I were just chatting as we're sitting down. A lot of times that's not the case. A lot of times it is just a loved one trying to do the right thing.
Typically it would be, and the most times that we'd see a guardianship in our case would be somebody with a traumatic brain injury. It's also typically seen in cases where the person has dementia or something like that, where they need somebody to step in for them and take care of them. Essentially what a conservatorship or a guardianship does is, for legal purposes, I am you.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to help you take care of the things you need to take care of. Obviously in this case, it's a little different, where Britney's net worth, I believe, is $60 million.
Wow.
And there's obviously a lot of room for that to be abused.
Yeah, a lot at stake,
The numbers that I've seen were that Jamie made several $1 million during the course of this conservatorship, which at least indicates that there's some abuse or reason for abuse going on.
Absolutely. And I know now people are talking about Amanda Bynes, or looking at other celebrities. In general, what is your opinion on lawmakers? Should they take a harder look at the standards here, or what do you think?
I think that, like we've talked about, most of the time, 90-some% of the time, the person that's the conservator really has a genuine desire to help the conservatee. But I do think this brings to light some issues where we need to take a look at how the attorney for the conservatee gets assigned. She tried to hire her own attorney, and the court told her that she didn't have the mental capacity to even enter into a legal contract or to hire her own attorney.
Wow, yeah.
While she's doing a worldwide tour. So that seems a little odd. And I think that means that we should take a look at different ways that things get implemented and fit together, and the court should really evaluate how this happened.
Sure. Matthew, thank you so much for being our expert on this and shining some more light on this case. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.